Hello friends, welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the evaluation of the void ratio, or we can say that we have seen the how we can find the void ratio in the laboratory test, that is odometer or consolidometer test. In the present lecture, we will discuss the compressibility parameters. We are having different compressibility parameters. We will see all of them one by one in the today's lecture. So first one, I will tell you about the coefficient of compressibility. All these things we have to by heart for the exam. We have to remember. We have to by heart it. Coefficient of compressibility. Coefficient of compressibility we will represent by the symbol A subscript V. So it is nothing but the ratio of change in void ratio to the change in effective stress. That means if I draw a graph to the effective stress to the void ratio, if we are talking about some, let us say normally consolidated, how they will look like? They will look like this. So if you are changing or if you are increasing the effective stress from 10 to 20, that means if I am applying some change in effective stress delta sigma dash, and what will be my change in void ratio? So if you are increasing the effective stress, your void ratio is decreasing or increasing? Your void ratio is decreasing. That's why I will say my coefficient of compressibility AV, that is nothing but a ratio of, or we can say it is a slope of, it is a slope of effective stress versus void ratio curve on arithmetic scale. So that is nothing but a, what is the slope here? I can say it is a change in void ratio to the change in effective stress, let us say sigma dash. Now, if you observe, if you are increasing the effective stress, your void ratio is decreasing. That's why I will say here my symbol is minus. So here this minus represents that your void ratio is decreasing as you are increasing the effective stress. What is the unit? Is there any unit for void ratio? No. What is the unit for stress? Newton per meter square. If I take in reverse manner, here it will be meters per Newton or meters per kilonewton. So we can say that the coefficient of compressibility or the delta value is decreasing. So that's why you can say that if the soil is becoming more stiffer, then the curve become the more flatter. What is meant by more stiffer? If your soil is more stiff, that means the change in void ratio or compressibility is lesser, right? Isn't it, in comparison to the low stiffness soils? So that means if settlement is occurs less, means your delta value will be reduces. If your delta value is reduces, then the curve will become the more flatter. So if the soil is having more stiffer, then your curve becomes flatter. If it is rigid soil means settlements won't occur. If settlement out occurs, then will there be any slope? No, it will be a horizontal line. Whatever may be your change in stress, there will not be any displacements happening in the soil. So this is what nothing but a coefficient of compressibility. Now let us discuss about the compression index. Second parameter we are talking about, that is nothing but a compression index. Compression index we will represent by using capital C subscript C. Okay. Now, so this is nothing but a, it is also nothing but a slope of void ratio to the effective stress. But here we are using the semi-logarithmic scale. Suppose if I represent the diagram here. So here I am drawing it in a semi-log scale. Along the x-axis, we are considering the logarithmic scale. Along the y-axis, we are considering the void ratio. As we have already seen, if you are considering the semi-logarithmic scale, then you will get some inclined line. So suppose at the stress of sigma 1, so what about this value? Log of sigma dash 1. So what will be your void ratio? E1. Suppose at some other point, let us say if I am increasing the effective stress to the log of sigma 2, then what will be my void ratio? Decreases, E2. So here Cc is nothing but a slope of this line. So what about Cc? Compression index, that will be equal to, again as you are increasing the stress, your void ratio decreases. That's why minus change in void ratio divided by, what is the change of these two values? Log 10 of sigma 2 effective stress minus log 10 of effective stress at 1. If log b minus log a, then how can I write it down? So my compression index, that will be equal to minus delta E divided by, if I take log b minus log a, I can write it down as log of b minus a. That's why log 10 of sigma 2 dash divided by sigma 1 dash. So this is what the value of the compression index. Understand? And so this Cc is normally used for NCC clay. It is only used for the normal consolidated clay only. So this is what the most significance. So here, if you see this, is this Cg is does not depend upon the effective stress. It is a constant soil. It is a constant for a particular soil. Why? Because see, whatever the effective stress you will apply, whatever the slope for an inclined line, it is always constant. That's why for a particular soil, we can say for a particular soil, your compression index is constant. That means whatever may be your applied effective stress for a particular soil, your Cc value will be constant. Why? Because as we are taking in a semi-logarithmic scale, the curve will look like some inclined line. For inclined line, the slope is always constant. So always remember that compression index is constant for a particular soil. Okay. Now, how can you determine this value? Suppose here I can say that first condition, if it is a undisturbed clay, if it is a undisturbed clay, or we can say under field conditions. So if you are talking about directly the field clay or undisturbed clay, then your compression index for the soil, that will be nothing but a 0.09 into liquid limit minus 10. Here WL, it is nothing but a liquid limit. These values we have to by heart it. So if it is under field condition, that means if you're talking about any problem related to the field, or if you are taking the clay in an undisturbed condition, then your compression index for that soil will be 0.009 into WL minus 20. Suppose if you are talking about the remolded clays, so if it is a clay, we cannot obtain the undisturbed sample. Mostly we'll get the remolded clays. So if you are getting the remolded clays, then your compression index, that will be equal to 0.007 into liquid limit minus 10. So see the difference. If it is under field condition, 0.009. If it is a remolded clay, then it is 0.007. Okay. These two values we have to by heart it for the exam. Suppose if they have given you the in situ void ratio, that means my Cc, that will be equal to 0.54 into E naught minus 0.35. So here E naught is nothing but a in situ void ratio. That means in original condition, the void ratio of the sample, if you know, based on that also you can estimate the compression index. And if you see the difference between these two parameters, that means compression index, the coefficient of compressibility. Coefficient of compressibility is not a constant parameter. Depending upon the effective stress, your coefficient of compressibility will be changes. But if you are talking about the compression index, it is constant for a particular soil. Irrespective of the effective stress you are applying, it will be always a constant parameter. Okay. Now let us go to some other parameter called coefficient of volume change. Coefficient of volume change. So let me represent with m subscript v, coefficient of volume change. So here, this is nothing but a ratio of unit volume change per unit increase in the effective stress. Understand? That means MV, that is nothing but a, what is your change in volume? Volumetric strain. Volumetric strain, how can I write it down? Delta V divided by V. If you are applying the unit stress, that I can say it as delta sigma. That means if you are applying, or if there is a one or unit change in effective stress, what is the volumetric strain occurred in the soil? This is nothing but a volumetric change. Suppose if I am representing the volume with respect to volume, so can I also represent with respect to the height? Why? Because as our cross sectional height, cross sectional area is constant. So delta V by V, how can I express? I can express it as a minus delta V. I can say it is a change in thickness to the original height divided by delta sigma dash. Similarly, if I want to represent in terms of the void ratio, how can I represent delta H? I can represent it as a delta E, original thickness. How can I say? In the previous lecture, we have seen 1 plus E divided by delta sigma dash. Suppose if I rearrange these terms, that is nothing but a minus delta E divided by delta sigma dash into 1 divided by 1 plus E. What is change in void ratio to the change in effective stress? I can call this as the coefficient of compressibility. That means my coefficient of volumetric change, that will be equal to, I can also write it down in terms of AV divided by 1 plus what about E here? In the original condition, E naught. E naught is nothing but in situ void ratio. That means depending upon the corresponding data, we have to use the equation. That means if we know the volumes and change in volumes, we have to use delta V by V by delta sigma dash. If you know the heights of the soil samples, then delta H by H divided by delta sigma dash. If you know the void ratio, then we have to use delta E by 1 plus A by delta sigma dash. Suppose if you know the coefficient of compressibility, then we have to say it is a AV divided by 1 plus E naught. Okay, this is what about the coefficient of volume change. Now, let us see another parameter, that is nothing but a expansion and recompression index. Expansion and recompression index. What does mean by expansion or recompression index? That means, suppose imagine if you are keep on increasing the effective stress, what will happen? Your void ratio will keep on decreasing. Suppose if you have stopped increasing the effective stress, then what will happen? The soil will try to come to its original shape. As it is under plastic deformation, original amount will not decrease, only some part of the void ratio will be regained. After that, if you keep on apply the increasing the effective stress, then again the void ratio will keep on decreasing. That's why it is called the expansion and recompression index. That means if you start remove the loading, the soil will comes to its original shape. But as it is already under plastic stage, it will not completely follow the original path, but only some of the amount will be released. After, if you still apply the effective stress, then recompression is happening here. That means, suppose if I draw the change, or if I draw the graph between the effective stress and the void ratio, let us say along the x-axis, I am considering the logarithmic scale, log of sigma dash. Along the y-axis, let us say I am representing the void ratio. Let us say if I keep on increasing the effective stress, my void ratio will decrease, my water ratio will decrease. But at some point, let us say at point B, if I suddenly remove the loading or if I suddenly decreases, then what will happen? Then my soil will comes to regains to its original shape. That means as it is a completely under plastic stage, it will not completely move this point, but only some of the amount will be released. That means up to like this. At this point, if you still apply the effective stress, that means your soil will again undergoing compression. So this is nothing but a unloading condition, and this is what nothing but again reloading condition. So so that's why here we have to find out what is the expansion index, and also we have to find out what is the recompression index. Okay, suppose if I represent the stresses at this point, at the point of starting of reloading, let me represent with sigma 1 dash. Okay, and at the point of this, it is, let me consider it as a sigma 2 dash. Then you can say the expansion index, that is nothing but a, I will say it is a C subscript E. If it is C subscript V, that is nothing but a compression index. C subscript E, that means we are talking about the expansion index. Expansion index. That will be equal to, can be written as change in void ratio to the log 10 of sigma dash plus change in stress to the original stress sigma dash. So this is what nothing but a expansion index. That means it is started from the point. It is started from the point here. Similarly, if I want to find out my recompression index, recompression index, that will be given as CR. That will be equal to change in void ratio to the log of sigma dash plus delta sigma dash divided by sigma dash. That means if your soil is expanded, then we have to use this relation. How much the original shape is regained. Suppose after that, if you still apply the loading, again reloading is applied. That means again the compression is doing to happen. Then we have to use the index, a recompression index. Understood? That means up to the point, let us say A, B, let us say C and D. In the point A, B, we have to use the compression index. From B to C, unloading has happened. That means in the portion B to C, it is expanding. That means expansion index we have to use. From again C to B, already this much, it is already effective stress is applied. That's when the portion C to B, we have to use the recompression index. But from point B, again, we have to use the compression index. That means depending upon the stress, we have to use the corresponding values. Suppose in generally, your recompression index will be in the range between 1 by 5 to 1 by 10 times the CC compression index. Okay. We'll discuss more in detail about this while solving the problems. Okay. This is about the compressibility parameters. Okay. Thank you.